Spraggins-Payne, and I'm your host of Zigzag, a segment that focuses on innovative women entrepreneurs and industry leaders from science, technology, transportation, engineering, and mathematic industries. Today, my guest is Tiffanie Stanard. She's the founder of Prestige Concepts, a 10-year-old marketing firm. Also, Stimulus, a technology and media company specializing in connecting communities for sustainable social impact. And she also founded Contact, which is a community program that teaches technology and business skills to the urban communities throughout specialized curriculum. Welcome, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, tell us a little bit about who you are and your journey. Let's start with your educational background.
Okay, so grew up in Philadelphia, went to Catholic school from start until 12th grade, Little Flower all-girls school, and then St. Veronica, another Catholic school. Then I took a little break from school to work full-time and to really focus on just getting out of my mom's house as soon as I graduated high school. And I was already kind of into like events and marketing and stuff in high school because I worked at a doctor's office helping him with his marketing and kind of doing admin stuff for him. So continue that as soon as I graduated. So was kind of bouncing around to like different jobs. I got my bartender license. I was in customer service, Victoria's Secret, working at restaurants, and then all while kind of doing my part-time event stuff on this side. And then started actually getting into like prepaid legal and all those kind of MLM sales stuff. That was kind of like my first introduction to entrepreneurship because there was not a lot of like entrepreneurs around me. So I was doing what I thought was just me doing events. I wasn't sure it was a business yet because I didn't know anybody that was involved in business. Met this guy that was in real estate and got into real estate, actually went after my real estate license. I kind of bounced around to different things just to figure out what made me happy. And then got a job in payroll, started doing a lot of payroll, and they actually paid for me to go to school.
Wait a minute, so you did all of this by the age of...
like 21.
Wow.
Yes, a lot of bouncing around.
Okay.
And started doing payroll. I was the youngest person in the department, and they paid for me to go to school. The first couple of years of school, and I took like a year off. So I went to University of Phoenix, and then got my bachelor's, and then went to Villanova to get my continuous studies degree in nonprofit fundraising because I was doing a lot with nonprofits at the time. And then they was in the process of laying people off around like 2009. And then I decided to do what I knew at that time was like part-time consultant to actually turn into a full-time business in 2009. So that was Prestige Concepts.
Okay.
So I started with like events because I was doing a lot with like offices because like the doctor's office I was working with recommended me to do other stuff. So then I started working with them. And then I started doing a lot of corporate stuff because I was in a corporation at that time doing payroll, kind of helping them plan like their employee appreciation days and stuff like that. So when I got laid off, they actually kind of turned into a client as well. And then it was pretty cool to get laid off, actually. I volunteered to get laid off. It was around that time that they was kind of letting go thousands of people at one time. Okay. And because there was one lady that got hired after me that is normally like if you don't volunteer to get laid off, you'll get, like last hired, first fired type thing. So she just had a son. So I volunteered to be laid off so she wouldn't have to get laid off because I was ready to go. I was there for years, and being the youngest person in the department, I was bored out of my mind. As you saw, I went through a lot of jobs and a lot of different things leading up to it. So at that time, I got laid off with like a pension. I had a 401k. I had a raise that they just had given me. I got unemployment. I had my savings. And then I had a yearly review so at that time I got laid off with a pretty good penny for a second. That helped me kind of be self-funded with my company for the first few years.
Wow, so you were literally living a dream.
I don't know if it was a dream. It was a lot because if I would have known at that time what I was like really doing, that money probably would have lasted a lot longer than it did.
Okay.
I was already living on my own. I already had my own car and all the stuff. So everything, I was just spending money. So to have that money at a young age, you were just spending. And, I brought on somebody, I was paying for everything. Instead of getting like a loan and stuff, I paid everything out of pocket. So that money definitely lasted. Not as, like, it didn't last as long as it should have lasted, basically, because I didn't really understand money at that time. But it gave me that jump to like do what I was doing already full time because I was so bored in everything else I was doing. So.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about how you actually took your pension, your unemployment,
A little bit of everything,
your bonus, a little bit of everything to kickstart your business, Prestige Concepts, which is the marketing firm first.
Yes. Yeah. So Prestige Concepts started, like I said, just doing events and marketing. And I was doing that for a couple years, and I was just doing it under like TK Productions type thing, like my initials basically. And then once I got laid off, and I was speaking to a bunch of different friends that actually turned into mentors that I met kind of along the way at different events.
Nice.
They was like, you need to turn this into a business, and you need to either do more than events or do something. So at first it was going to be TK Productions, but I'm like, all right, I want to do more than events. And I started getting into more marketing, kind of website design at that time. So I ended up coming up with the name Prestige Concepts. In 2009, actually making it an LLC. So a lot of money went into throwing our own events so you can showcase like what we were doing. Going to a lot of networking events. I was like that girl that you never saw, and then all of a sudden you saw her at everything. I went to like every networking event. So that's another thing, like spending money on things I probably shouldn't spend money on because I had it.
Right.
Which was, it becomes monthly, like a bill after a while. But that's how I met a lot of people that are still in my life today, because I started going to a lot of events from like the, let me see, what else did I go to? I'm trying to think of the different events I went to when I was younger. Urban Affairs Coalition type of events, like the Friends events, African American Chamber events when they were like really, regular. So that's how I pretty much started investing in the business. And then I brought on a partner at that time. So I was paying for a lot of like self-promotion and self-marketing through my own money. And
so what does the self-promotion and self-marketing piece look like?
So that's me going to events. That's me promoting like myself.
Like,
it's like, this is what we do. Here's my cards. Here's flyers to our events. Partner with other people for them to be a part of our events. To get other people to hire us. Because normally you'll just go around and say, hey, I can do your event. I wanted to show people how we did an event. So we created different themes. We did a lot of events at like Warm Daddies, because when I was bartending and waitressing, I was working at Warm Daddies. So I ended up turning that around like, hey, can I start doing events here now? So I would come there like Sunday nights when I used to do like comedy nights on Sundays and all of that. I would do a lot of events there. And then that's kind of how I, got a lot of my early clientele. But it was hard because I spent way more money than I should have in the beginning, because sometimes it is better to use other people's money, because then you have a savings a little bit longer, because once you run out of money, you run out of money. And being self-funded is great, but when you run out of money, you run out of money. So
let's talk about that a little bit. Right. Like, when did you run out of money, and when did you start using other people's money? OPM.
Other people's money. Right. So probably like 4 years into the business.
Okay.
The money lasted for a while, because it was like personal use, like rent and car note and all that. And then it was business use. Because thankfully we had some clients that sustained us for a while.
Okay.
But a few years in, people kind of stopped hiring internally for events or externally for events, and started working internally more for events. So after a while, I had to start doing more big contract work and more consulting work that would double the money that we were bringing in. So I never really went after, like, I've never got a loan for my businesses. I was nervous about that, because I already had, even though like the job that we had before paid for most of my school, but when I volunteered to get laid off, those payments stopped. So then I had to start paying on the rest of my school myself. So I didn't want to add to that. Like, that's the only thing I have on my credit is student loans. So I'm like, I don't want to add to that.
Right.
So I never have taken a business loan because of that, because of my student loans. But I recommend people kind of look at like business credit and or a loan if you have good credit starting out, before just using your personal savings for your business, because you can add on to it versus just take directly from your savings. Yeah.
Would you say, even though you claim that you were not the best at managing your money,
right,
on the brink of starting your business and transitioning out of a full-time position, but would you say that you had some prior knowledge, experience, training with financial literacy?
No.
Ever?
No. I mean, in our, in Black culture, we just don't. My mom was terrible with money. Terrible. Still is to this day. Everything I learned now about money is self-taught and try not to make the same mistakes that she made. It was definitely a lot of school things that I went through, and like different paying for school myself. Like it wasn't through her. It wasn't like getting a parent loan. You know, it was through my job and me paying for it myself. So all of my financial literacy is from a lot of trial and error and trying not to, you know, make the same mistakes she made, and still make some mistakes even now, you know, budgeting and making sure that, you know, money outlasts you for a month or 6 months or 12 months ahead, and making sure that you are planning for the future, not just for the following week.
Currently, what's the net worth of Prestige Concepts? Would you say it's $1 million?
I wish. No. Well, Prestige Concept now is focused on building other businesses. So now Prestige owns my new company, Stimulus, in partnership with another company, because we looked at the different companies we wanted to build over the next few years. And the name Prestige Concept kind of fit under that, because for the last few years, it's been sustaining itself. You know, we'll get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 contracts, but it was still hard to maintain it because service business is not scalable. Unless it's a business that is repeatedly paid for a year or two in advance. Like if you're doing sanitary work or something like that, when you know they're going to sustain you for a year. But with like events and marketing and websites, you normally get contracts for like 6 months, maybe a year, depending on the project, but it's always less than a year. So it's really hard to have a real good net worth with a service business. So now with Stimulus, my new company, which focuses on software development, we have a scalable product and a scalable business that, regardless of what the services are, we have a product that will be scalable and sustainable with or without us being a part of that full transaction.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Recently, you hosted an event in partnership with NBC and Universal on an innovation project, both here in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. Tell us about those events and the success that you gleaned from it.
Cool. So with Stimulus, we focus on one, software development, but we're providing a platform that helps large organizations such as NBC manage their award program. So all large organizations or city government or government in general, they give out, you know, like contracts, they give out grants, they do sponsorship, and not enough of them go to diverse communities. And it's hard for diverse communities to know how to connect to an NBC when they have a program in which they're looking to award a company. So we help, you know, provide information on both ends. So you can come to our platform where a large company like an NBC can put out that they have a grant available and they're looking for these, you know, criteria, and a small business or a nonprofit can put their information in a profile and match to those opportunities as well. But large companies like that, they never go into the community. They say they want to reach the community, but they never actually physically go there and say, hey, what are you working on? So we said, you're in the process of launching this new grant challenge. You're trying to get quality over quantity applicants. How about you actually hear about what they're working on? How about you highlight some people that you previously gave money to? So we started creating these different events throughout the city for last year, with other companies like AT&T and Microsoft have paid us to do those type of events. So we suggested that for NBC. They're actually in 11 different cities, NBC. So they're like, okay, let's try it in Philly and let's try it in DC. So we tried it in those two cities. Both events were sold out. Both of the cities, especially like the local teams, was like, they never do these type of events here. And all the nonprofits were excited because they said they just never come out. It's, you know, you feel supported, but not really, because you never know what they're working on until you physically hear it. And then a lot of times when you're going through these applications, there's so many questions you want to ask, but they may not get back to you in time. They may not answer your question. A lot of people are going after the same, you know, money with the same project. And a collaboration can happen, but you don't know because you've never met the other applicants. So this allows you to not only connect with each other, but connect with the person that's giving you the money. And they're looking to give out $5 million over the next 2 years in 11 cities. So you want to ask these questions like, okay, am I right for this? What else can I get from them? Especially them being a media company, you can get other things from them. You can get some press for your company, some additional marketing if you have a media-related nonprofit. So those events really help cultivate those different relationships.
How did these nonprofits hear about this particular initiative? Was it through your book of business, through Perceived Concepts, or just word of mouth?
It was a little bit of both. One thing we always do is collaboration is key. So we always use our network from the different people that have signed up on our platform, have came to our previous events. We've been doing events to kind of promote what we do as a company for over a year. And each event has been over 100 people.
Wow.
And, we've had waiting lists for people that want to attend because how you go to a bunch of events and you get excited and it's just a bunch of networking, which is great.
Yes.
But it's never anything that you're leaving with that is like actionable. I wanted to start creating events in addition to our software. One is a marketing tool for the company, but then also if I can leave an event and know that this company has money available for me or a potential partnership that's available for me, I'm going to come to this event. And I know I'm not wasting, if it's free, I know I'm not wasting time. If I have to pay for it, I know I'm not wasting money. Because sometimes network is cool, but if you ain't walking away with something, I don't have time to go. People have kids, people have businesses, they have a lot going on. And if you're not walking away with something, why go to these events? So all of our events have a focus where it's a call to action. Like you're meeting with the AT&T because they have this. You're meeting with a Microsoft because they're supplying this. So that's kind of the same thing with NBC. So it was from our network and the different companies that we partner with in Philly and DC. And then once everybody started sending it out, it kind of spread itself. And then, we had over 100 people registered for both events.
That's awesome. We're going to shift gears a little bit. I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. You shared a little bit about your mom's challenges with managing money. You talked a little bit about your challenges with managing money and funding your business. I want you to tell us a little bit about how you stay focused and, how you're able to execute on your vision.
Right. So staying focused is really a lot of self-motivation. One thing I've learned, like I said, you go to a lot of events to get encouraged, a lot of networking events to hear from other speakers. But if you don't have self-motivation, whatever they're saying to you goes in one ear and out the other. Because you can walk away hype and excited, like Oprah told you to do this, but you're not Oprah, and you're not going to turn into Oprah tomorrow. So at the end of the day, it's great to hear from all of these speakers, but everybody's journey is different. And you can take little bits and pieces from whatever body says, but it's up to you to execute it. You ain't going to wake up tomorrow and just have $1 million. Like, it's a lot of self-motivation. So I had to learn that I don't care how much I spend on these motivational events, that if I'm not self-motivated, it doesn't matter what they're saying to me. So I look at little signs where the days that I want to give up, and I don't care how long you've been an entrepreneur, it can happen any day, 10 years from now. That when you look at the different signs that is around you, where somebody that has been following you in your journey for years will come up to you and say, Tiffany, I've been following you on social media and I'm proud of you. You helped me do X. Those are the signs to me that I know I should keep going, because if you don't have that, if somebody's not telling you that, or you're not telling yourself that, I don't care what your dream is, it's hard to execute it, because you need that encouragement to keep going.
So you have the Standard Report.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the day in the life of Tiffany Standards. You're juggling 3 businesses.
Right. So Standard Report is funny because I wanted to start it like a blog, but then I get so busy that I don't ever feel like writing. And then, so I'm like, okay, what is the Standard Report? I just came up with this. Everybody, when you have a last name like Standard, people are like, oh, you put the Standard in this or something corny. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to put my own name on something. I started saying the Standard Report, which is kind of like the day in the life, whether I'm speaking or I got featured somewhere, or I'm just telling you what I did in one day. So the day in the life is definitely, going between what I do media-wise, having, my radio show on 100.3 on, Sundays, and I've been doing that for 5 years. So trying to amplify that and double my media presence, which I've been working on for like the last year. So people have seen a lot more YouTube videos and a lot of hosting things over the last year and a half. But then focusing right now on growing Stimulus is my biggest focus right now, even though I still have other businesses, because one thing when you go into, it's kind of like when they say when you have kids, you get better by the third one. It's kind of the same thing with business.
Yeah.
I don't have any kids.
I don't know anything about that. I just have the one, but sure.
Yeah, I've heard that from other people when they said, by the time you get to the second, third kid, you're like a master, quote unquote, at it. I feel like that with my business because I feel like there's a lot of trial and error, like I said, with the first one to the second one to the third one. And everything I've learned now with my third business as far as finding the right partners, my COO that's a part of my business now, the different clientele, how we go after clientele. I've completely learned from failure from the first two businesses. And it's helped me rebrand the first two businesses to figure out if they're going to sustain themselves or should I close them and focus on this one and launch other things. Because as they say, fail fast and fail often. And at the end of the day, just because your businesses don't work out doesn't mean you're not a good entrepreneur. It's just either those ideas wasn't ready to be worked on or you need to take a break from them and come back to them. And I've learned that over time where it's okay to let go of something and either close it or start over because your third or fourth business could be the one. And as soon as you know that, you become a better leader and a better entrepreneur because you'll use all of those mistakes for your current business. And I feel like stimulus is my do-over to help me decide whether I'm going to grow these other two businesses now having the network a little bit more money than we did before and or close those businesses.
So you went from Prestige Concepts, which is still the overarching business, to Stimulus. Why the name Stimulus?
So Stimulus came from, I don't know if you remember, it was back in like 2008 when they mailed you a stimulus check.
Yes.
You remember that? Yes. So that's where that name came from. And I thought of the name from that and then also from reading this book because stimulus means like a reaction, like an incentive to do something.
Okay.
So if you see our logo, at the end of the S's are two arrows, like it's a constant reaction.
Like a cyclical.
Yeah. So I thought of that name because us connecting communities to resources such as like money and grants and stuff like that. Like people get excited when you think of a new program or a new business, right? But you lose your excitement when you see how much money it takes to do it, or when you see you need to find this new partner to do it. But if we help you connect to resources, that constant excitement is going to keep going because you know where the money is. Yes. You know where the partnership is. You know that NBC got $225,000 and giving you to this nonprofit that it gets you excited. So it's a reaction. It's an incentive to keep going. So stimulus was that name of like, I want to constantly give people that stimulation to like keep going. So that's where that name came from.
That's awesome. Tell us what success means for you.
Success means to me, one, still be doing this as long as I've been doing it. Seriously, it's so easy to give up. Discipline and going when you get 101 no's while you waiting for that one yes. Success means that you're still happy to do it. You're still trying to do it. You're still trying to achieve your version of success. Understanding what your version of success is. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are fine with being a one-woman show. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs that want a 10, 30-person team. So it's understanding that your success ain't going to look like nobody else's and being happy with that. And you can make $100 million by yourself. There's a lot of speakers that's out there making that amount, or you can have a full team. So understanding what your success looks like and not being discouraged because your success doesn't look like your fellow friend or whoever. So my success is growing Stimulus to $1 million company that I've been picturing that I wanted for Prestige, but actually brought me to where I am now, because if I would have made all the mistakes I made with Prestige, Stimulus wouldn't have been an idea. So I'm now looking at all of those mistakes as actually a blessing.
So run it down for us. Just give us 3 highlights that we should take away from today, from your growth and your development as the professional, the marketer, Stimulus guru.
3 highlights. Let me think. So 3 highlights, I would say, 1, understand your version of success and don't be distracted by others. 2, please understand financial literacy from start to finish, business and personal, because that's so important and that's not going anywhere. And I really wish I would have understood personal credit as I got older. That takes you a while sometimes. And then 3rd would be to partner, because the success I've had thus far and the success I've had, especially over the last couple of years, has been finding the right partner to partner with within my company, and then external partners as well.
So how have you mastered finding the right partners?
Looking at my network, like people you think you wouldn't work with, you end up working with. Like the partner that I have now with Stimulus was from another project that I was working on with Microsoft. And I just said, hey, I'm working on this, this new idea for Stimulus. And he took this small idea to something as big as it is now. And I'm like, I never thought of working with him. So you just never know once you actually reach and ask for help within your own network. And at first I was just going to be a one-woman show again and to start working on it.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm about to ask everybody. Can you help? Because I think also as women, we just do it by ourselves too much. And I did that with Prestige. And I was like, I'm not doing that going forward. If I got to ask everybody around me until I get a yes, somebody's going to work on this with me. And now we have a great team. We have 5 people right now.
Wow. Tiffany, tell us where we can find out more information about you, Stimulus, Prestige Concepts, Standard Report.
Yes, so Standard Report is on all social media. Okay. So you can do at Tiffanie Stanard, Tiffanie, and then Stanard. So that's where you kind of see the day in the life and all the different projects that I'm working on. And then you can also go and find out about all my companies and everything that I'm working on at TiffanyStanard.com. And then for Stimulus is also yourstimulus.com. And then all of my links for like my websites and blogs and stuff is on TiffanyStanard.com.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. My name is Tiffany Spraggins-Payne, and I'm your host of Zigzag, a segment that focuses on highlighting women entrepreneurs and industry leaders from the science, technology, transportation, engineering, and mathematic industries. Today we had Tiffany Stanard, founder of Prestige Concepts, a 10-year-old marketing firm, and Stimulus, a technology and media company specializing in connecting communities to sustainable social impact. For more information about The Grit Live, you can reach us at www.theenterprisecenter.com.